welcome to Ion Radio. I'm Ken.
I'm John.
And we are coming to you today with an interesting video. We have met up once again with Aaron from Death From Above Wargaming.
So we decided to get back together with him and talk about our experiences with the campaign that they developed over at the Death From Above Wargaming channel.
And since Aaron mentioned in our previous chat with him that we should get together and talk with a wrap-up video, that's exactly what we did. So hopefully you enjoy it, but here's Ion Radio and DFA. Hey everyone, I'm Ken.
I'm John.
We're from Ion Radio.
Hey, and I'm Aaron from Death From Above Wargaming.
So Aaron, once again, this is absolutely great to be able to have an opportunity to speak with you. So thanks again for giving us an opportunity to reach out and talk about the DFA campaign we managed to get through.
Yeah, it was awesome to watch.
Thank you very much. If you, looking through it, how did it feel for you to actually see your creation at work?
It was cool. I really enjoyed it. I mean, of course, the most vivid battle in my mind is the most recent, the last one you guys did, the Take and Hold, I believe, and the sort of the downtown region. You know, little mechs jumping on buildings, big mechs just blowing up all over the place. I think somebody got head killed. Didn't the Battlemaster get head killed from the back? Maybe punched in the
from behind.
God, it's awful. Awful way to
behind.
die. You don't even know it's coming. Just
no.
All of a sudden, there's just a hand, like, you know, sticking out the Battlemaster's cockpit.
Pretty much. I think the funniest thing was you had hit that and peppered it so many different ways. Like every limb had one or two more hits left, and it was this punch from behind.
I almost didn't punch it, actually. I was gonna go after the Atlas, and I'm like, who cares? I'll just punch it. Yeah. Maybe I'll get a crit and destroy, because I needed like one more gyro or engine hit to kill it.
Right.
Yeah.
And instead of hitting the engine, it just went right through the cockpit. It was super exciting.
Yeah, I mean, it was cool. But, you know, overall, I thought you guys did a great job with it. You know, loved the music, loved the dice tray camera. We talked about all the little things that, you know, you guys put your personal touch on it from a cinematography perspective. So well done there. And then, yeah, from a rules perspective, I thought it was really cool. I thought, of course, I was looking at it more critically from a, you know, did the rules hold up? Did the missions hold up? I thought overall it was, you know, I thought it was pretty good. I thought the missions were exciting to watch. From like a spectator perspective. You know, of course, I think the sort of idea that forces needed to be balanced from the get-go, right? You know, was definitely sort of spoke through there. Ken, of course, you had to buy that Panther at one point, which was it was good. And, you know, of course, using all the sort of different rules in the various corners of the campaign. It was cool to see. I really enjoyed it.
One of the things you mentioned when we last spoke was to make sure we had some good series of lighter mechs and everything else. And I don't think either John or I really listened too closely to that one.
No. You know what I needed? Light mechs.
Yeah.
They're an important part of the campaign. You know, and that's what makes the system, I think, really cool, is that you can't just bring, you know, a bunch of heavy mechs to the table, or assault mechs to the table, or high BV mechs to the table. You know, you definitely need those smaller mechs, because there's a little bit of like mathematical gymnastics you need to do when you're trying to fit a lance into a force. And sort of the fluff behind that, or the narrative behind that, is, you know, when the attacker, right, is on the roll, right, they win, they get to pick the mission, they get to pick the escalation. It's sort of representative of the defender being back on their heels. Maybe they're not able to mobilize as quickly. So, you know, the attacker can pick a mission, a point value, right, an escalation value, battle value, I guess I should say, that really kind of screws the other player, right? You know, and we've done it on our side too. You know, if I know Kevin's back on his heels and I just wiped the table on a, you know, a lighter mission and killed 4 of his light mechs. I mean, you know, I'm picking a light mission the next time, because he's going to be, you know, he's going to be at a disadvantage. So it's kind of fun. It was kind of cool to see that come to life in your guys' campaign too. I mean, you guys, I was looking at the list. I'm looking at it now, like so many big mechs, and not only big mechs, even your other mechs are like absurd, like the Archer. It's like 1,400 BV or something. I mean, these things are like crazy expensive, but they're cool mechs. You know, they're effective. They're just very expensive.
Yeah. So what I ran into issue with specifically is I didn't sit down. So I chose my mechs and I chose, I'm going to be Davian, so I'm going to choose some Davian-like mechs.
Yeah.
And then I put my really good pilots into my really big mechs. So they were like a bazillion points.
Right.
And then like we came down to the big final battle. I'm like, I don't know what to bring because my points don't line up into the point brackets. I should have started by putting my better pilots into lighter mechs to increase the battle value so then I could actually bring it, because I was either going to be over by 500 points or I was going to be under by 800. And it was a really like difficult time to get the lance properly to deploy because I'm not going to go in 800 points down.
No.
Right.
That would have been fun for me.
No.
What was
when oh, go ahead, Ken.
I was going to say what was really interesting is we noticed that we had a ton of mechs sub 800 points for BV, and then there was this jump to about 1,700 points. I think I had one mech in the middle there with the Phoenix Hawk, and the Shadow Hawk I had was a little bit right in the sweet spot also, which you decimated in the first mission.
Yeah. And
it got to a point to where we could almost figure out what the opponent was going to be bringing.
Yeah.
The app for was pretty clear cut. There was, here's the 3 choices you could potentially bring to this battle.
Yeah. And that's sort of representative of that battlefield intelligence, right? Like when you get that sort of upper hand, when I build my forces, very cognizant of trying to like build to that bell curve, John, to your point. And I would say, you should still put somebody that's a really elite pilot in a big mech, right? To be that sort of big outlier, but put a couple in those smaller 800 point mechs to kind of bring them up to fill that void, and then have like a medium mech, so you have them spread out so that you can bring like a good elite pilot to like, any type of mission. Right. But yeah, kind of build into that bell curve. So if your, average battle value is like 1,200 or whatever, you have, maybe 3 or 4 mechs, like all right around that, a couple to the left of it, a couple to the right of it, and then like a little more extreme from there, so that way you can kind of mix and match a little more easier. If you lose a mech, you can pack it in with lighter mechs, to sort of fill the gap, or if you lose one on the bottom end, so you can kind of mix and match a little easier that way, I found. And it's true, if you have all of the mechs where there's like that big void in the middle, like you can end up in very unfavorable matchups, for sure. So force building is definitely like a meta component of the campaign, as you guys sort of found out, which I don't think you did a bad job. I think they're pretty good. But, the thing with like, the Atlas and the Banshee, right? Like these are really, really, really.
You don't want to bring a 3,000 to 4,000 point Atlas? I mean, that's what I learned. That was a mistake. Putting my best pilot in an Atlas was a mistake.
Yeah. I mean, very rarely, am I going that big with an elite pilot, right? For sure. Yeah. The bigger the base BV, right? You put an elite pilot in that, it just skyrockets so quick. It's crazy. It's crazy, I tell you. I don't like battle values, everybody knows.
Well, I guess we could always do stuff by tonnage, but that might.
Yeah, that's even
C-bills.
worse.
It's all about the C-bills.
That's right.
We're mercs here.
That could be an interesting way to do it.
You have to convert it to L-bills first, and then there's a source book for that, I'm sure.
Oh, they're one of the ones that's got to be dug through, probably in campaign up.
In case you're interested in, having your lance like play the stock market while they're stopped over in, Capellan space.
Because it's not data driven enough, like with all the stuff. Hold on, real fast. We're gonna check the stock market. The ticker's coming out now, and then we'll get to this fight again. Oh, good.
Oh God, Earthworks is down again.
I mean, how many days was it since we last fought?
Yeah, right. Oh my God, it's crazy. The level of detail is both wonderful and insane at the same time. Anyway, I'm on a digression. What were we talking about? BattleTech.
The stock market.
The stock market.
I think what's interesting is, since this was our first go through with the campaign, and we were all anxious and interested to jump into it and play, I don't know that we really gave enough forethought at the start of oh, hey, maybe that 1,500 point bell curve average is where we want to look for.
Mm-hmm.
And what was really fascinating is because when we started filming was right when the lockdowns began for the COVID pandemic.
Yeah.
So we got our first mission out, and then we had 2-3 months before we were able to get together and film again.
Sucks. Yeah.
It really did, but
we'd already decided what we were doing for the next mission and
Yeah.
already selected the max. So we got to think about it for 3 months.
Right.
It was great.
It's torture.
It was
oh,
so like I actually feel like I was very connected to the campaign more so than I would be normally
Yeah.
because I had so much time to think about it.
So much. Yeah, it's insanity. That was insane. I recall myself playing BattleTech against myself and filming it. It was a low. It was a personal low in my life.
but actually, I enjoyed that series.
Yeah, they were pretty cool. Yeah,
they're
pretty
really
cool.
informative. It was interesting to kind of get a sneak peek into your head and how you think and operate.
Yeah, yeah. No, they were fun to do. The tactical reports. I would do them again if there were another pandemic. I hope there's not.
Yeah,
Ever. But yeah, I mean, it was. I was glad though that you guys finished it, right? Like there was a point where I remember we were talking. We were like, do we want to do it on Megamech, like, or whatever tabletop simulator, one of these things. But it was cool, really, to see it play out. Of course, it was a 3-game sweep. We talked about that.
Yeah.
But such is the life. Well, listen, you hitch your wagon to Capellans, you are bound to lose. So
And die, really.
that's right. Get your
That's
head
the one
punched
thing
off.
they do very well.
Right.
Yeah, my forces did kind of die, especially the Battle Master with the punch to the head, the Shadowhawk that got blown up in the first mission.
Right. Yeah, I was just going to say, what was that? A recon mission?
Our first mission, hang on, I have it here somewhere. Yeah, first mission was recon.
And what was the second one? I'm trying to
Second one
remember.
was breakthrough.
Oh,
and we did the
right.
conquest.
Yes, conquest.
Yeah. And that was
a cool one.
that was interesting because that's where we had the fire bases, and we weren't. I don't think either one of us was very aggressive.
I ran them across the board.
That was interesting, and I think for us, anyways. Again, that's where we had so much time waiting, and
Yeah.
I was just thinking, do I really want to rush all my stuff in here? It was almost like starting again to an extent. And I think once that second mission was over, it dawned on me, oh, wait a minute, dude, this is not mission number one.
Right.
And that kind of threw me off a little bit. But I thought the third battle, the one in the city, was probably the best one we did of the campaign.
That was very close. Well, I mean, if I recall the second mission, I think you missed like everything. We were shooting at something and just like blatantly missing like turn after turn.
Your Warhammer couldn't hit anything.
My Warhammer couldn't hit
Maybe it was the
anything from across the
Warhammer.
board.
The
The Banshee got pulverized,
God, it was
I think.
In
sad
your
to
Charger.
watch.
And the Charger,
couldn't hit
or
anything.
not Charger, the Crusader.
Crusader couldn't hit
Crusader,
anything.
Yeah.
Maybe that's
Running
what I
around
was
the
thinking
corner.
of. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awful. You had some really bad luck, I think,
Yeah.
on that one.
It is what it is.
Is
It's
what
quite
it is.
interesting when you look at, that's like the part that I like and dislike, the dice probabilities. Because the probability doesn't matter. You're just going to miss.
Mhm.
It's like, I need a 4. This will be easy. 3. Great. Cool.
It hurts.
Yeah.
It hurts. Yeah.
We also
It's true.
learned that I am capable of only rolling 12s
On
when
initiative.
we're rolling for initiative.
Yeah. I saw that. All those little Capellan signs everywhere on initiative.
And they're your dice, too.
Yeah, they're my dice.
So
Ugh.
go figure. I
Capellan
haven't been
dice.
able to figure that one out at all. But, about the only lucky hit I had was the one LRM shot. In the third mission.
My 3,000 plus point Atlas walking up. First salvo of an LRM from a long range. Through the center torso.
I remember that.
Crit.
Yes.
Destroys my gyro and my engine. That was fun.
I remember that. Yeah. Well, these things happen.
Well, that is,
How did you guys end up with in terms of support points? Did you find that the pool was too big or too small or just about right?
It was, in my opinion, I thought it was just about right. I felt I ran out real quick, but then I also bought a new mech right off the bat.
I mean, you know, you're buying sports cars in your free time. I can't account for that in my investing in the Capellan stock market.
Yeah, see, it was going down, and you know the cost of Panthers was going up.
What's going up? You had to buy.
I had
buy now.
Yeah. Economics.
You know, I had a great paint job, some flames on the side.
Oh my God.
So I actually thought they were very, very good because you have the choice of, I brought all AC-10 pretty much weaponry and ACs in general. So I was every single round having to pay to reload my mechs and put armor back on them. So it was like that balance point. And as we went into the third mission, seeing forward with what I had lost, I had to make the choice of, do I fix these mechs or do I just scrap them and take all the points from like 3-4 scrap mechs and try to buy a mech?
Yeah.
So it gave a lot of like very difficult, very good choices. And you had to put some thought into how were you going to use your points, because you had enough that you could do what you needed to, but it was going to be very, very tight.
Yeah.
And I really liked that. It was like right at that sweet spot.
Very cool. Yeah, that was definitely the sort of the hope for it, right? That it would be, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know, right up to the wire, I guess is what I'm trying to say, right? So, you know, of course, you know, it's designed to be 1 in 3 missions, but typically, you know, you would maybe go to 4, possibly even 5. And again, if you get to that 5th mission, like it's like shoestrings and bubblegum, you're probably fielding damaged mechs, right? So it really becomes sort of this epic struggle. But even when you get to mission 3, right, like to your point, you're not sure, right? It might, you know, you have to make some hard choices. You know, is old mac and cheese going to the crematorium or what? Like, we don't know.
Oh, you know,
never turn your back to a grasshopper.
No. I think to stay with support points, we kind of looked a little bit ahead of if we got to mission 4, what would happen. And man, you were going to be hard pressed to put any mechs out. And I was going to have the opportunity, because I would have had to win mission 3 to decide the battle value moving into it. I was intentionally starting to look at what mission can I choose? What level of, I forget the term you use for low, medium, and high. Escalation. Can I use to kind of force John to maybe bring 3 mechs or 4 that are heavily damaged and not repaired? Because I had a few that I could bring in that were still in pretty good shape. So I think if we would have gotten to that 4th game, the support value, the support pool anyways, would have really started to become an issue. And that's where I think it really would have gotten interesting. Because like you had mentioned at one point, and I forget when, but you were saying we could easily just go on and on with the chaos system and constantly, you know, repair our mechs and everything else. This really puts a great definitive end to a campaign one way or the other.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you can just keep going, but eventually all your stuff's going to die.
Yeah.
Or run out of ammo. That's my case.
I was hoping to push you to that point, but didn't quite get there.
Yeah.
But it was just fun to use it, try it, and then get an interesting handhold on that.
I enjoyed it too, and I'm looking forward to the next one that you guys do as well. You know, we have had similar struggles just getting everybody in one place, and I don't know. I think it's just a combination of you know, of course, the COVID thing, but more so just the virtual school and this and that. It is just such a drain on. Oh my God, Tom and I are like gassed at the end of the day. But you know, we're hoping to get something. We actually just filmed a battle report, a little Alpha Strike action the other night, so that should be coming out soon. I find Alpha Strike very fun. You know, it's very refreshing, very quick. And it was interesting. Quick topic sidebar here. You know, as we were playing Alpha Strike, you guys were playing Classic, and then we got back into Solaris, which is based more, you know, on the Classic rule set. And the level of detail, while it is extremely cool, right? Like, oh, I blew off your hand actuator. I think if you guys try Alpha Strike, you'll see like you can get through so much more quickly. And it's so much less, I don't want to call it overhead, rules overhead, but there's just so much less going on. You know, it's just much, you can sit down and you can play this game and you can wrap it up. And, you know, we did, including filming the other night, you know, it was like 2.5 hours and we were done, you know, and that's like, you know, with classic, it's like literally 4.5 hours, you know, and again, that's with setup and the intro and the outro and put the lights up, take the lights down, you know, like it's a process. So being able to kind of cut down on some of that and get through more mech battles more quickly. I mean, you could really get in probably 2 different games a night, you know, it's pretty cool. We have a guy on the Discord that ran a bunch of 4-on-4 Alpha Strike games. And I believe he was using the campaign rules. And it was really cool, you know, like how quick, you know, you just get through them so quick. It's like, boom, 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 you know, you could sit down, you could play like a whole campaign in 2 nights, you know? So it's kind of neat in that regard. Anyway, sidebarring as usual, but yeah, it was really cool to kind of see, you know, the one thing I loved is, you know, the damage reports and like, you see the graphics and all the different panels, very reminiscent of course, Mech Warrior and all that good old stuff. So anyway, so
yeah, we want to throw little fun things like that into our battle reports. We do it with some of the other, what would you call that?
Battle reports?
Well, battle reports for different systems, I guess.
Yeah. Star Wars and Armada.
Yeah, and we want to just kind of get a little bit of our own process and our way of doing our battle reports into it. We had a lot of fun doing a little bit more with the final battle report, throwing in lasers and
that was cool.
That's all fun. He's like, I'm gonna take this video for a while and I'm gonna play with it. I'm like, okay, just let's see what's going. He's like, laser this, machine gun that, missiles, and I'm like, wow.
Wow. Yeah, it was cool.
It was a good way, I thought, to kind of, because by the time we finished, we knew it was over. I'm like, yeah, let's finish this one out with a bang and add a little bit more to it just for fun.
Yeah,
it was very time consuming, but at the end, I thought it was kind of a fun thing to do.
Yes, I walked that fine line between, you know, too many special effects and not enough. And of course, you always get the guys in the comments. And like the rule of thumb is like never read the comments, but I always read the comments. And, you know, they're like, well, I miss when you used to do this. And I'm like, yeah, but it took me like 3 extra hours a week. And I love you, but I can't do it anymore. Like, it's just, there's no like ROI. Yeah, right. There's no ROI in there, you know? Right. So I found like the damage reports, like I love doing, you know, nowadays I do the inline damage reports. So as soon as it happens, you know, boom, you know, you see the damage pop up. Versus, you know, like the old style, which is, you know, like the classic style, right? Where like, because you need it in classic, because I think there's too much crap going on. But you know, the sort of the cutaway where, you know, you talk about each mech and what damage did they take, and but Alpha Strike again, you know, it's just like this inline damage, like boom, it pops up, like this is what's going on in real time. So anyway, I always like saving time on the editing.
Yeah. So moving forward, would you say that you like, which was your favorite system then, BattleTech or Alpha Strike, or are they both are separate things to you now?
So I would play classic. I will, you know, will still play classic, but I absolutely like Alpha Strike better. And I did not start there. I looked at Alpha Strike the first time. I had the book and I was like, man, this sucks. This is really dumb. Like, why does this mech only have 5 dots on the armor card? This seems really abstracted. But when you get into it, and again, you know, we've posted up on our website a suite of optional rules that we use, you know, in combination with a couple of minor house rules like the group fire and things like that. You know, and they have options for like, well, you've seen our Alpha Strike battle reports, right? You know, where you can do like the variable damage or the whatever it's called, the multiple hits, whatever optional rule that is.
You're rolling multiple times for each.
Right, multiple times, and like, you know, it's not like boom, 5 damage, you're dead. You know, it's like
I
hit, you know, you have to hit 5 times, and that's not always easy. You know, when you need, even if you need a 7, like you're not guaranteed. It's only 52 or 50, whatever the hell it is, 52, 56%, right, to nail that. So, you know, there's a lot of uncertainty in the game. And I think that's very cool. And of course, we use the variable range modifiers and all this other stuff. So to me, it's just a much more balanced game. I was joking about battle value earlier. Battle value just doesn't, in my opinion, it doesn't scale well, especially when you have like an Atlas with like a 2-3 pilot in it. like newsflash, like that extra, 800 points or whatever you spent for the piloting upgrades, really not doing that much, you know? And we tested that in Solaris not too long ago. Kevin took a piloting upgrade or piloting downgrade, really. And it was like, it didn't do anything, I love Alpha Strike because it's one skill value, And I talked to my buddy Cal from DFA, and he plays with guys in his local store, and the dude will like show up with like a 1/6 Atlas, or a 1/6 Awesome or whatever. And it's like why? Like, what pilot? It's like, I can like really shoot, but I have no idea how to move this thing. It's like constantly banging into trees. Like, I mean, that person like doesn't exist, right? Like, it's like the F-15 pilot that like can't fly it, but can really shoot really well. Like, it's just like, it's silly, right? So the fact that like they haven't, and of course you can house rule it. That's what we do, right? And I told Cal, like, dude, you got to enforce some DFA rules over there. But like, we don't allow like anything more than, I think it was 1 or 2, difference. Like you could be a 2-3 or a 3-4, you could be a 3-3, you could be a 2-2, but you can't be a 1/6. Like that doesn't make any sense. Right. So anyway, but yes, I personally, I really like it. I love the fact that you can get vehicles and aerospace fighters and infantry and mechs on the same board. And you don't need like a degree in like advanced science and math to like figure out how the heck it's supposed to work, I always encourage people when they're like, no, it's easy to play infantry. I'm like, really? Read the example in the Total Warfare book. Please tell me that shooting missiles from a 28-man platoon is easy. I mean, it's not. It takes like 25 minutes just to shoot one infantry platoon. Like, it's crazy. So I don't know. To me, I think Alpha Strike is gold. I hope the Catalyst evolves it. I think it can use a little bit more granularity. For example, would love to see unique critical hit tables per mech, generated based on how much ammo's on board. I'm a Centurion. I have like freaking 15 tons of ammo in my mech. Like, it shouldn't be the same chance to hit that ammo as it is the mech that's only carrying a ton of, AC5 ammo or whatever.
Right.
So it would be cool
to be
to
an
see.
explosive pinata.
Exactly. So, just like little tweaks like that, I think would really do the game justice. And then of course, I think the point value system is far more sustainable than battle value. And you'll see this in the upcoming battle report. Spoiler alert. Actually, this may drop after the battle report. We'll see. But Tom and I played an 8-on-4, and he played a very big assault lance, like really meaty. It was 200 or 250 point game. Played a very meaty assault lance, and I played, a very light to medium lance with some vehicle support. And it was a really close game. Like, even though I outmanned him 2-1, but that's kind of like what you would expect from like point value. Meanwhile, in Classic, you have, the force multiplier. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that nonsense, but like if you have 5 mechs and he's got 4, he has to add on a force multiplier to his 5. So they go up even more in value. It's really bizarre. You don't have to use it, but it's there. And it's recommended to like level the playing field because, you have more units, initiative, this, that, but like, it's crazy. It's just, it gets bonkers. Like you can't do it. So it's kind of this very bizarre thing to me. Like, for example, 5 clan mechs equal 8 inner sphere mechs with the force multiplier. Like, good luck. You're fitting like 8 locusts in that lance, and they're fighting like, 5 like dire wolves because like the force multiplier is so jacked up.
Yeah.
Alpha Strike gets rid of all that. It's all easy. Yeah. I like it. I like balance.
Well, I know we've had a couple opportunities to play a few Alpha Strike games just off on the side. We did actually, when we did our Gen Con weekend, our final day was Alpha Strike, which was very taxing with 16 mechs each.
And it was great.
It's too big.
It was a lot to keep tabs on.
Yeah. And I mean, I'd be honest with you, again, I'm the fool that reads the comment sections, but, frequently you'll see like, you losers, why are you only playing with, like 10 units? And I'm like, because I don't have 3 Saturdays to play this battle.
Yeah.
And also, like, who cares? We're playing on a 48 by 48 inch battle grid, which is bigger than, 3 by 2 maps, right? Like 3 maps by 2 maps. It's bigger, right? So, And even still, I feel like the board is crowded. So I would love to see what these games of dudes who are dropping 24 mechs on the table, like, what does that look like? You know, it's just like people like bumping heads into each other. Like there must be just crap everywhere. Like I don't, and to your point, like tactically, how do you keep track of it? It's just,
it's hard.
It's right. Like because it's not Warhammer. They're not moving and shooting as a unit, right? They're not like, it's, you know, it's not like, oh, my 15-man squads of like, you know, Necron warriors is all, you know, shooting the same tank. Like, no, they're not. Your 16 mechs are all shooting at different things probably, right? And it's crazy. You know, who took that critical hit? When did they take it? You know, like these things matter in this game. You know, it's not just sweeping models off the board. So I agree with you. 16, I think, is too much. Like we played with up to 12, and I found that to be tolerable and manageable, especially when you're doing combined arms. So you've got infantry, you know, you've got vehicles, right? Infantry, very easy to manage. They don't take critical hits. They just splatter, you know, things like that. You know, a couple of airspace fighters that are zooming back and forth across the board. I really want to play, side note, aerospace with other aerospace. I have not done that yet, but they can like dogfight, which is pretty cool.
That would be fun.
Right? Like how cool is that? Like you roll to see like who like gets, you know, behind the other dude, or, you know, if you're coming in on the side, it's very cool. Do you guys play Warhammer? I don't remember if we talked about this before. I don't think you do, right? 40K?
I watch like a lot of Warhammer. I think it's actually a really fun game to watch the internet. I don't know, playing it in person against random people is fun. I think against friends,
so much
I bought the
rage.
Indominus box just to paint it because it's really nice models, but that's about as far as I get into Warhammer.
They released when they came out with flyers as like a real big core part of the game, they released a thing called, I think, Skies of Death, or, you know, whatever, like insert scary like words, you know, and it was like Skies of something. And, you know, they had all these rules for dogfighting. And so the Alpha Strike stuff is very reminiscent of that, you know, where you have your, you know, you take your piloting and like, you know, how good is this dude? Like, you know, maneuvering around. I think that's pretty cool. I always found that to be like a neat sort of mini game within the game, right? You know, you have like your Red Baron of BattleTech, you know, the scarf flying in his Chippewa.
That's where you have your 6-1 pilot, right? Where he can't shoot, but he can fly. So.
Right. I actually get excited every time I watch your guys' battle reports and there's like aerospace. I'm like, this is going to be a good one to watch because you always like hit max and it's amazing every time. Having a dogfight that would be great.
Right, because they dominate when they're. So I've learned when I did the tactical reports, I taught myself never try to outrun a fighter. Like I wasted 2 turns trying to sprint my mechs into range. This is like seared into my memory for life. Like you need to just stop, you know, stand still and shoot the thing out of the sky. Like they're not hard to hit. It's only effectively a +2 TMM. They just get like a flat +2 all the time, no matter how fast or slow the fighter is. So they're not hard to hit. And if, you know, they're at short range to you because they're strafing you or dropping a bomb on you, like you are bound to hit them. So gotta hit them. Gotta kill them. Gotta kill them. Or have aerospace fighters of your own, you know, and then it becomes a little bit more of a fight. But anyway, enough of my PTSD from myself playing games.
No, I actually, when you did the playing yourself games, I always thought it was funny because you would like outthink yourself. And then your dice roll for the one side would never benefit the outthinking.
Never. Yeah.
How it always works when dice come into effect. You're like, okay, this is like the perfect way to counter this.
Yeah, right.
Okay, cool. Miss.
Right. Double ones. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, every time.
So I know one of the next things we're really excited and looking forward to doing is another campaign. And we've already decided we're going to jump in using Alpha Strike. And again, the Death From Above Alpha Strike campaign stuff.
Very cool.
So we don't have our forces picked out yet. Maybe clan?
I'm hoping, so theoretically, right, we should be getting the wave 1 as of filming this in like 2-3 weeks.
Yeah.
I got my second do you actually live at this address still email from them.
So did I.
you know, so I feel like maybe they're shipping soon. We'll
Hopefully.
see. So yeah, I mean, I'm hoping 2 to 3 weeks would be glorious, but you know, but yes. So Alpha Strike campaign, that would be awesome. Question: you going to do straight mechs, or are you going to incorporate some vehicles? Ooh, tell me more. Tell me more.
So
I'll let you talk on this one.
I actually just finished painting up 7 lances of vehicles.
28 vehicles. That's a lot.
Yeah.
So many. That's great variety.
Yeah, I can't even remember all the different. So it's like a very like through your standard like LRM,
right? LRM carriers,
bulldogs, and
classics. I love bulldogs.
Demolishers, and what's the one with the M? It's a meteor tank.
The Manticores.
Yeah, Manticores. Yeah. So I have like a very good variety of them, and I just painted them like urban camo, so that I can throw them into whatever force. They're not really dedicated. So they're really just a planetary force of whatever planet I want them to be on.
Perfect. That's exactly how Kevin did it. And I have some company dedicated vehicles, and then I have like you did, like the general olive drab, you know, that's like sort of like the planetary defense force for a couple of different factions. That's awesome. I'm excited to see how that pans out.
And then I also bought like at the beginning of the year, because you know pandemic and COVID ruins like time perspective.
It really does.
It really does. So it's been almost a year, because you know standard hobby and painting stuff. But someone was selling like for really, really cheap a bunch of the infantry for Dark Ages, you know, the click game. So I picked up a whole big box. So I have a whole big box. I got to like cut them off and
perfect.
Put them on new bases.
Wow.
So
yeah, I bought the Ironwind ones, which are, I mean, I know I'm getting old, but I do not know how people paint these things. Like, you must need like the giant like magnifying glass, you know, like the thing that like comes down when you're like, you know, working on
telescope.
Right. They're so freaking tiny. I mean, I basically just like painted them one color, like dry brushed them, and then like put like a dot on their head for like where I thought their visor might be.
Yeah.
I don't even know if they have visors, but they do now. So, you know, that's about all I could do.
It's like when you go see those giant battlefields at Gen Con or something, and they're playing with the 6mm infantry. It's like you look at it's like, that's really neat, but you're holding up magnifying glass and you still can't see it.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Kind of stuff.
I mean, listen.
Napoleon era like battlefields look amazing.
That's true.
They do have some really nice terrain. So I've never actually been to Gen Con, but I've been to a lot of local ones. And they had, I don't know what the hell it is. Every year, it's like some sort of D-Day invasion type thing. Maybe Flames of War, Bold Action, one of those. I don't know, but they're really tiny. And I was just want to like take it over. Like, just like be like, guys, get this crap off the table. We're playing BattleTech on units.
But you know what you could do is you could put the mechs right on the battlefield while they're playing, and that just could be collateral damage.
You're dead. You're dead. You're dead. I win.
The laser just streaks across, you know. But yeah, we are going to do combined arms for Alpha Strike. We've actually been talking recently about, as a precursor to it, of doing one side, and I think you were thinking you wanted to do this, of nothing but tanks. And then we have a lance or two worth of mechs. Again, an Alpha Strike, and then just see what happens.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, I find vehicles are pretty dangerous in Alpha Strike. Like, you know, you can definitely, but they do die easy. Just always, which is something we always have to remind each other when we're playing, is like the motive hits, right? So every time they take damage, there's that chance, you know, there's a motive hit chance, right? Outside of, which is separate from the critical motive hit on the vehicles, right? They're the MP hit, whatever it's called. So that's like the Achilles heel for the vehicles, is they get stuck real easy. But then again, like, I'm like, oh no, my Shrek is like immobilized. Like, I don't freaking care. Like, I'm still like hitting you for 3 points of damage, like every turn, right? So kind of funny, but I love the vehicles. I think they're really cool, and I think they add a lot of flavor without overpowering the game. You know, they're like well costed, like the Manicore or whatever. It's like 30 something points, you know, it's like not cheap. So
Right.
I think, again, I think you guys find that Alpha Strike and the way it's balanced, I think it's really cool. Are you doing aerospace fighters? We talked about it. Are you doing it?
I don't have any yet, so
Probably not. Although now that you've brought up the conversation about dogfighting aerospace stuff,
Feel like we may need to have
maybe
that
we'll see one or
conversation.
two
We'll have to
come
say-
into play.
Yeah, might have to think about that one.
It
But
might
even
have
if
to.
not, you know, I think the way the campaign's set up, right? It's very, very fluid. So however you want to do it, like no aerospace with airspace, either way, I think, you know, as long as the forces are relatively from a unit type perspective, relatively balanced, I think, you know, it's good. You just don't want one guy bring an arrow and another guy not, because I think that could get very, I don't know, maybe not though, because again, aerospace fighters can't cap objectives, you know,
No.
like, so there's some pros and cons there, and they're not cheap either. So it would be interesting to see. I will say, Tom and I were talking about this in our last battle report. The Savannah Masters, the Gabriels, like those stupid fast hovercraft. I don't know, man. They need some sort of Nerf bat. They are not easy to play against. They are so broken, in my opinion, because again, you sprint 20 inches with them. You can very easily get in anybody's rear arc, and then all of a sudden they're doing 2 points of damage, right? They've got, the Gabriels at least have a turret, right? So you don't even really need to be like, if you get outmaneuvered, you can still shoot, and you can be like a dork and just like hide behind a rock and camp an objective. So I feel like, you know, and like the thing with Alpha Strike that I said this the other night, that I wish that they would have ported over from Classic was the, you know, your TMM, right? Your movement modifier is based on how far you move. It's not hard. Right. You know, so you can move this hovercraft like 3 inches or, you know, whatever, and you still get your like +4 TMM because you would like, I don't know. They assume it's like that agile or that quick. So
they're just swerving around in the field.
Right. Just driving in circles. Right. Yeah. Like, you know, and I struggle with this. I think now that I'm thinking back to it, like the tactical report with the Savannah Masters, right? And we sort of implemented some house rules based off of that related to, you know, when you can actually declare a sprint and things like this, like, but they're just really like, I don't know. That's the only thing about Alpha Strike, I feel like, ironically, is like these little tiny hovercrafts. They're so fast. They're so hard to hit, and they don't cost a lot. And you can put a garbage pilot in them, you know, 4 or a 5, and they're only costing you like 13, 15 points or something like that. So beware the hovercraft swarm. It's real.
Speaking of that, one of the mechs that I'm excited to try to use in combined arms is the Dasher. And I think it has a TMM of 4 because it moves insanely fast.
It does.
I mean, you have one armor, one structure, but
yeah, so do they. I'm gonna look it up real quick. I think the point value on the Dasher, 28 points for the Dasher Prime, and that's with a skill 4 pilot. So you figure, you know, you put a decent, half decent non-inner sphere born pilot in there, you know, figure skill 2 or even skill 3, you know, you're in the 30s for that. That seems reasonable to me. The other thing, honestly, though, is physical model size. So a Dasher, it's not hard to find it and see it and hit it. But because you're doing the model's eye view thing, you can take a little hovercraft, and they're like this big. They're so tiny, and you can hide it behind almost anything.
Yeah.
So that's where I think that it's very interesting, like how difficult they can be. Because again, you can move that short distance to keep yourself, like you just keep running around the rock, you know, the other dude can't see you. It's like Looney Tunes. But anyway, but yes, the Dasher is a very cool mech. I can't wait for all of those mechs. Is that coming in wave 1? Is it? Refresh me.
I don't know if that one's in wave 1.
Is that in the box set? I've lost track. I have a spreadsheet somewhere to help me remember these things.
I don't even remember. Basically, whatever they send me in the box, I'm just going to be excited for. So.
Yeah. Anything. Just send me anything.
Yeah.
Just repackage the existing new mechs, and I'll be like, oh my God.
Yeah, right? Really. You know, slightly different color base or something like that, we'd be like, new Max.
I know. Oh, goodness gracious.
Well, while talking on the clans, though, what's your preferred clan?
So I'm a big fan of Clan Ghost Bear. Love the Ghost Bear. Just because they're not D-bags, you know, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like they're like traditionally wardens. They're not like warmongering jerks, you know. They've got some cool like mythos going on as well. Of course, the MechWarrior 2 Ghost Bear Legacy was very cool too. I'm sure I'm influenced by that, but you know, and then also their history, right? How they settled down in the Rasselhag Dominion or the Ghost Bear Dominion, right? They call it the Ghost Bear Dominion, don't they? Or they call it the Rasselhag Dominion?
No, they changed it to the Ghost Bear one, don't they? Later on,
Ghost Bear Dominion, right?
Well,
anyway,
Jihad to Dark Age starts blending things.
Yeah, I get very confused also. So anyway, love those guys. I think they're really cool. I also like, they're probably my number one clan. I hate Jade Falcon. They're my least favorite clan.
You're sneaking right to me. That's my favorite clan and my least favorite clan right there. It's great.
Yeah.
Guess who this jerk likes?
Yeah.
This jerk here is a Falcon.
Ugh.
I know, right?
You know, I mean, clearly you guys are wrong.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible, unlikely, but possible. I will say I like Snow Raven. I think they're pretty neat, but they're kind of like also not very exciting. So I don't know if I want to paint them or not. But I'm definitely going to paint some Clan Wolf because they are like, you know, they're right front and center, and how could you not? So I feel like I think the first wave of mechs is going to be Clan Wolf. I just painted a whole company plus of Oberon Confederation mechs, the Oberon Guard.
Yeah.
So looking forward to having some very, very brutal standoffs between those two forces on the channel. Maybe a campaign in the future. We'll see.
Nice.
We'll see how that goes. Yeah. So, you know, we're gearing up. We're gearing up for the clan invasion over here. But yeah, I mean, I would say I'm probably going to start with Wolf, and then I'll work Ghost Bear in when I get the second wave stuff. And, you know, the Kodiak, I think the Kodiak's coming out in wave 2, which is very cool. Very excited about that. So
is it fair to say that if Jade Falcon is your least favorite clan, that your second least favorite clan then is going to be Smoked Jaguar?
Yes. I don't know. Smoked Jaguar I have mixed feelings about. They are sort of annoying, but it's kind of interesting. I learned recently that they like come back to life later, or there's like a bunch of them that survived. I never read that book. But yeah, I don't know. They're kind of interesting. I'm, you know, they're sort of in the middle of the pack. There are some other weird ones.
The Mandrill.
You know, like the Mandrill and the Star Adder dudes. They're like, you know, like drug addicts and like hallucinate all the time. Yeah. Steel Viper. Yeah, they're like, you know, what do those guys do?
Nova Cats, then no longer Nova Cats, then they're part of Kirta. Like, if you're going to join a house, why would you join Kirta? And then they become the Spirit Cats, and then they aren't the Spirit Cats, and they join the Republic, and now they're House Merrick or something crazy.
I don't even know. Yeah, I mean, it's a very crazy storyline there for sure, and that's part of the reason I like some of the Clan Wolf stuff. Like, I like when they kind of break off and they have that internal schism, you know. And I don't remember exactly who the good guys were, but there's Clan Wolf in Exile. I think they were the ones that wanted to like stop being jerks.
Yeah.
But then they started being jerks again. Like the Commonwealth's like, here, have this chunk of land right on House Merrick's border. They're like, cool, we're gonna go mess with your neighbors. I'm gonna go blow up your neighbor's house. How's that sound? And they're like, yeah, cool. And you know, have fun. So yeah, I don't know. The later years do get weird. I'm interested to see what happens with the Ill Clan stuff. You know, we got to do some of the sneak peek stuff on the recognition guides, which was pretty neat. There's some interesting stuff in there, but really interested to see, you know, I'm looking for some source books, you know, you know, like I want to sit down. I want to like, you know, read about the status of the planets and like who are the new factions and what's their color scheme and like show me some cool pictures, right? Like, I don't know. That's like my jam. Like, so I'm looking at my shelf now. It's I haven't added any real new BattleTech books. They keep reprinting the same ones, which, you know, admittedly needs to be done, but I need some new stuff, you know. I'm ready. I've been reading, even though I don't read a lot of novels, I have been reading one series that's set in like the 3100s, and it's like, it's pretty good, you know. Some weird stuff like with weird, you know, the weird technology that they invented, which I hope there's like a second, like, oops, we forget how all this stuff works, because some of that stuff is just so bizarrely unnecessary, which again, also why I like Alpha Strike, because like, I don't need to know how like your blue particle dampening field works. It's just like baked into the numbers, you know, like, you know, it's crazy. Anyway, so, you know, we'll see. What about, so you're a Ghost Bear guy. You're a Jade Falcon guy. I'm sorry. And
kind of have the rivalry when you have two people on a channel, right? I mean,
that's true. That's very true. Yeah. I think Tom's a Jade Falcon guy. Pretty sure he is, especially in his heart more than anything.
This is where what we need to do is some kind of cross-channel thing where you and John and Tom and I
know. You guys can have your like Jade Falcon. You can like paint your faces or whatever it is that Jade Falcon people do.
Little triangle with the Falcon on it, and then, you know, be wearing, you know, tan. You know, oh good God, I do a lot of that, don't I?
Anyway. I like the Bob Ross personally. And we're just gonna add a happy little bird.
Yeah,
a little happy little falcon right there.
Happy little mechs in the background.
Yeah, right. You need to do that as like a spin-off episode where, you know, we just put you in front of an easel and you can just paint like some sort of mech scene. That'd be phenomenal.
I'll keep that one in mind.
Battle Master needs a friend. Let's paint him a grasshopper punching him right through the back of the cockpit.
Put in the PPC. It's going right over into this guy's head. It's a happy head.
We're going to use the 2-inch brush for this.
Yeah. Right. Just the blood spray coming out of the cockpit.
Dap it right there onto the.
Oh, goodness gracious. That's funny. So, Alpha Strike campaign.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. You guys have an idea of when you might kick that one off?
Oh, I think part of it is waiting to see. Again, time of this filming, we're expecting to get stuff in the next 2 weeks, maybe 3. And then we're going to have to paint it.
Yeah.
So I suspect if things go to plan, we're thinking filming in November and cool. Probably release in December.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be great. That would be great. And who knows, you know, maybe all the mechs will show up. Like, God, wouldn't that be great if they showed up on time?
That would be
just wonderful.
That'd be great. It'd be better if someone could paint them for us, but
I know.
Oh, well.
I need to outsource my painting. I was just saying that to Tom the other day. Like, we need to hire somebody to just do it.
Yeah.
It's so time consuming.
It really is.
You know, what are you gonna do? Such is the life of a war gamer. We have it hard.
Yeah.
It's true.
I actually think that pretty much wraps up talking about also just shout out your guys' Alpha Strike like rule reference. So you have like the actual rules reference, then you have your guys' version of the rule references are the best rule references for Alpha Strike that I can find anywhere on the internet. So
thank you.
Props to you on that.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, and you can get those for guys that are listening right on our website, DFAWargaming.com. Download section. You'll see you can click on Alpha Strike expansions, and there's all the quick reference stuff down there too, and some of the house rules and stuff that you were referencing. So yeah, I mean, we try to make it easy. You know, we did those how to play Alpha Strike bat
those
reps
were
or whatever.
Great, by the way.
Yeah. I thought they came out pretty well. You know, the Cal had that idea to kind of, you know, help people learn how to play, because there's some how to play, but it wasn't, you know, to me, like, I think the organic sort of play style is more natural to me. So he recommended sort of taking that approach on. It came out pretty well, I thought. So yeah, it's good. I am very interested to see what you guys pick this time around for your campaign lists.
Probably a little bit more balanced, I think.
Yeah.
some more light mechs, some medium mechs, you know, really by point value, right? You want that I want the gradient, the bell curve by point value is really what you want. But yeah, it'll be cool to see. I mean, we did, you know, I did the one campaign, we did another one. I don't think we actually filmed it. So, you know, I think the rules are fairly mature. I will say some of the missions need tweaking, I think, especially the asymmetrical ones for Alpha Strike. You know, like, for example, so if you guys do the campaign, we should connect beforehand, because like Seek and Destroy, you know, if you're playing a 12-on-12 versus a 4-on-4, like how many, you know, construction factor points you want on a given building, for example, really radically changes. And it was sort of designed for like that 8 to 10 aside, you know, so if you're going to more than that or less than that. And then the other one, Tom and I were playing the other night, we were playing Linebreaker, and he took the assault lance because he's crazy. And, you know, all of his mechs, you know, are like slow as turds. And I was like, no one's ever going to take this in a Linebreaker, right? Like only you would take this. But, you know, we were talking about it and it was like, you know, there should be, you know, maybe we were talking about maybe changing that mission, like having like incremental, like if you're 50% over the board, you get this many, you know, or if you have an unobstructed exit lane off the board, right? Because the other thing we were talking about, of course, this is like my tactical reports. I'm just like, my brain's like, how would I really screw Tom if I wanted to? And I had a lot of small fast mechs and the Gabriels, and like I could have zipped one of the Gabriels into his corner of the map and just sat it there the whole game, right? And he would have, you know, he would have never won because he didn't have the speed to get off the board. But the spirit of the mission is like, you know, are you unobstructed, right? Like, did you blow a hole in their line? And so that's the thing we're going to try to build the mission around, not just really moving them off the board, but like, is there an enemy like within so many inches of you, you know, and are you closer to the edge than that mech, right? Like that type of thing. So even if you have a big, slow, you know, group and you can't get off the board, but you manage to blow a hole in their line big enough that you could theoretically exit, you know, and you're winning, right? So that's one, for example, some exciting things we were thinking about on how to sort of take these to like the V2 of the mission. So if you do play some of those asymmetrical missions, you know, we should talk about them beforehand. But you know, I think that the symmetrical ones, I think are perfecto. I think they're ready to go. So anyway, thought I'd share.
Well, we'll definitely be in touch then, right beforehand. We'll give you guys a sneak peek of what our mech lists look like, and then you can pick on us for not doing.
I'll get my quill and critique it. Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, I think we pretty much covered everything we wanted to do. Again, cool. Aaron, thank you so much for letting us reach out and spend a little bit of time with you again, and especially with the fact we had a blast playing through the campaign, and it was a real pleasure for us to be able to put it on our channel.
Yeah, man. Well, I'm glad you guys used it and enjoyed it and reached out in the first place. I think it's super cool. You know, I think that, you know, our intention was to have those rules add like another dimension, right? That sort of extra layer to the game, you know, to sort of drive the intensity of like, these aren't just sort of missions in a vacuum. You know, there's a consequence to every action. If you're reckless with a mech and you lose it or get punched through the back of the head, for example, you know, there's like a lasting consequence to that. Right. And, you know, you had to spend the support points to buy the Panther because you know, and it was cool to really see that in motion. I'm really glad you guys enjoyed it. I am very excited to see the Alpha Strike campaign. You know, that'll be fun to watch in December for sure. Especially, you know, as soccer winds down, I won't know what to do with my time. So I'll be looking forward to, you know, to those battle reports. So yeah, man, I'm very, very happy to be back again. Looking forward to the next time we can, you know, we can chat. And I don't know, maybe one of these days we will do, you know, cross channel. Maybe I'll need to come out to Gen Con one of these years. It seems so far.
Well, one day we have to wait for conventions to kind of pop up again,
Okay.
for sure. But we'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there. I'm confident. If not, well, we'll have a convention in my basement, and we'll just, you know, play BattleTech here.
Well, that sounds like a plan. We'll make the road trip out.
It'll be mainly us just yelling at each other. Do you refuse my bachow?
Yeah.
Right. And we'll end up playing just like a 1v1. That's
Yeah.
what will happen.
Yeah.
You know, and our viewers will be very disappointed. All
Ken's
of
going to
them.
be there with this like green triangle on his head.
I can just see Tom in the trench coat standing behind him.
Let's see how we have
my
to
God.
happen at some point. But,
Yeah.
Jade Falcon filth.
The Surat.
Oh God. All right, gents. Well, hey, it was really great catching up again. Thanks again for having me on the channel. Thanks so much for using our rules. It really has been a pleasure to kind of see that in action.
well, Aaron, thank you very much. Once again, this has been an absolute pleasure. We look forward to catching up with you again after the next campaign.
Yeah, sounds good, guys. All right, I'll talk to you soon.
All right.
Okay.
Take care.
Welcome back. Well, hopefully you enjoyed that discussion that we had with Aaron over at the Death From Above Wargaming channel. So make sure to go to their channel, subscribe, watch their videos. They make some excellent content over there.
So as we mentioned, Alpha Strike is on its way, maybe even another BattleTech report thrown in there. So stay tuned for that on our channel. And then a huge thank you once again to Aaron from Death From Above Wargaming. We always have a blast talking to him, and we're very gracious that he's willing to take the time to be able to talk with us.
Yeah. So we got tons of links down below that you can find us on all of the different social medias. Like, subscribe. We're going to have new content that's going to keep coming out. And that's about it. So I'm John.
And I'm Ken.
And you've been watching Ion Radio.
At least we're painting them and then playing with them.
That's true. Yeah.
You know,
as
opposed to painting everything and they sit there looking beautiful on a shelf.
I know. Like, but that's no fun. Like, it's like people with model cars. You know, people were like, "Oh, those are cool. Those like model cars." I'm like, "No, I play with them."
Yeah.
Not that childish stuff.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Like if you're gonna have model trains, you have to crash them into each other, right?
I would definitely, or I would just use them on my BattleTech layout. You know, as
they look cool.
Apparently Z scale works very well, but you know, I don't know. Need to build like a high-tech rail line. I wonder if they make like space age train cars. It's a good side project to look into.
That could be fun. 2021, like, right?
Going around the table while you're moving your minis. Oh my goodness.
That camera will just constantly be focusing on the wrong spot. So
it's true. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
God, I can never get my autofocus to work ever. Like never. It's always looking at the wrong thing. And I wonder, is it my camera or does it just hate me? But I think it's the latter. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. I think with the number of times we've tried to focus in on something, and now we're talking about going off on a tangent, it never works the way you want it to. But
yeah, when we did our live stream, people were like, it's not in focus. I'm like, well, technically it's the best focus I can do.
Right.
Because it just seizures the entire time.
I find that too. Yeah. I mean, my webcam, which I'm using right now, is like far better at focusing than, the multi-$100 like, camcorder or whatever that I have. I don't know. Time to upgrade the equipment too.
Yeah.
Just don't tell the wife. She says to me the other day, she's like, wow, you're really painting a lot. I'm like, oh yeah, this Kickstarter shipping, blah, blah, blah. She's like, was that like a year and a half ago? And I was like, yeah, probably. She's like, you paid for that up front? I was like, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
God bless her.
So,
it's that, it's usually a Warhammer meme. It's like, oh, this is, my wife gets angry when she found out that I had a 1,000-point army and she thought it was dollars.
Right. Yeah, no, it's a lot more than that. What do you think the cost per point is in Warhammer these days? I'm sure someone's done that analysis.
I don't know. That'd be interesting to find out. I'm sure there's people that can comment on this video and let us know those.
Yeah. I remember, you know, I'll share with you a story from my youth. I was, I guess it was like 18 or 19. It was like I guess I was like about that age. It was the summer after high school, after my senior year. And I was like working during the day, and like a couple nights a week they would have at the local Games Workshop store, they would have veteran night, right? And you'd show up and you'd play like 1,000 points, right? One-on-one, you know, and they had like, you know, 4 or 5 tables set up in the back of the store. It was a good time. And so like you got to know that it was like the regular crew that would be there like every week or whatever. So you got to know these guys. And there was this one guy, I think his name was Jerry. And he would just go on these like buying rampages. Like he would buy like all of this stuff all the time, like hundreds and hundreds of dollars. And it's like a 18-year-old kid. You were like, oh my God, like, wow. I wish I was that rich. This must be great. And the one day I was there on like a Wednesday afternoon or whatever, like I had gotten out of work a little early and I wanted to pick something up and go home and paint it before, you know, veteran night. And Jerry walks into the store and he's got the 2 bags, you know, and he puts them on the counter and he says in like a low voice, it's like, my wife found all this stuff and wants me to return it. God's honest, a true story. And you know, it's just really funny. Like I always make the joke, but I guess he was like sneaking Warhammer stuff, you know, and like she found the credit card bill or something. I don't know, but it's pretty good. Like that hobby it's one of the things I appreciate about BattleTech, honestly. You know, like you can certainly spend a lot of money on crap if you want, you know, terrain, battle mats, this, that. But if you want to get into the hobby, you can get into it for 25, 30, 40 bucks, right? Mm-hmm. And that's it. That's your cost of entry. Assuming you have a pair of dice laying around your house somewhere, you know, it's really all you need, which is kind of cool about this hobby. But again, side story number 6 for the evening. That's all you get.
Side stories are part of the best part of this.
Yeah.